are you allowed to dance? Like, what?
I say a prayer, I say a prayer, I say a prayer to whoever made you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna kind of try to do a little more background of my life and my history pre-high school, middle school situation, and I want to kind of touch on being a church kid. Yeah, this is kind of a tough topic. I want to love on and respect the Christian community, but also call out some of our flaws and our areas that need some work. If you've ever heard the song by Semler called Youth Group, there's a lot of truth in that song. We're gonna touch on a little bit of boys and my first crush and my first kind of experience or taste of freedom in middle school. So I had a crush. I remember having a crush on the first boy I had a crush on in like third grade. His name was Joey. Okay, of course his name was Joey, right? He ended up being a musician or something too, of course. And that was that, whatever. There was another one named like Cutter and another one named Vincent. Don't tell me how I remember these names. But like when I got a crush, I got a crush. But like nothing ever happened. It's middle school, right? Elementary school. Maybe some kids were like dating. I don't know how you date as a third grader, but they did it. They managed it. But the biggest, craziest experiences I had in middle school were at church camp. Why? Because we're a bunch of kids let loose to go run and do shenanigans. And God knows we're sneaking out of our cabins or tents or whatever. Like, what are you gonna do? Tie us down? I think they had chaperones or Sherpas or whatever, but like they have to go to sleep at some point. And somehow we managed to sneak out and hang out at the docks. The first time I ever saw a girl kissing a girl wasn't about love. Okay, it was about shocking the boys. Okay, so like some of the most shocking experiences I had in elementary, middle school were at these church camps. And the biggest thing that happened throughout like my young adulthood, my childhood, whatever, was that whenever I liked a boy, they usually didn't like me back. I was a nerdy kid, maybe not a nerd. I don't know what the difference is, nerd, dork, whatever. A little weird. I was an artsy, like shy, really, really loving. Like I was that person that if anyone's hurting or anyone got hurt or fell down, like I'm right there, I'm loving on them. But I wasn't that like popular 12, 13-year-old that always had a boyfriend, whatever that means, in the third grade. So I think that later on in life, when I got in these relationships with these beautiful men, they took advantage of the fact that I was still that child that loves people unconditionally and wants to help them and grew up in the church and thinks that I can fix them, and I had this savior mentality. I think that is a huge part of what played into later on in my life. And I think that growing up, being this nerdy kid that no one loves, when you have this gorgeous man love you back, like, so what if he's a little rough around the edges? You don't have the opportunity of like 15 years teaching you that boys are all gonna like you, so just choose the best ones. The boys didn't like me. Like they were like, you're sweet, you're nice, you're cute, but like I wouldn't date you. Whatever, again, dating is as an elementary school student. But the other thing that I got a lot of is being like your token Christian kid. Are you allowed to wear that? Are you allowed to wear makeup? Would your mom approve of that? Like, are you allowed to dance? Like, what? Yeah, I love Jesus. That doesn't mean I can't wear lipstick. How do those coincide? So it's a very weird experience for me, but in elementary school, it did keep me accountable because I had all these people being like, you're the Christian kid. So I didn't have any desire to act out or be crazy because I was accountable to my faith, and other people were watching me and being like, okay, she's a Christian. So I felt the need to act appropriately. Now this all changed when I went into high school, because now I was like your token Malibu kid in Santa Monica with a bunch of kids that were like from the city, from Santa Monica. I didn't grow up with them. They didn't know me. They didn't know my dorky side. I had a little bit of a glow up. God knows, not much. I should put my picture right here. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe you should look it up. But it was a little bit of a glow up. And so all of a sudden, when I went back to Malibu and started hanging out with them, some of those same kids, some of those boys all of a sudden wanted me. And it kind of turned me into kind of a mean girl. Because I was like, you guys didn't like me before. You didn't like me for me. And now you like me? No. That's not how it's going to work. So I kind of turned a little bit into a player. I hate to say that, but it wasn't great. So I would date guys for like 4 weeks in high school. Date, right? Again, what, holding hands or something? But I remember being at church camp and having the opportunity to have my first kiss. And I was like, it was a truth or dare or something. And I was like, no, this isn't going to be my first kiss. I want my first kiss to be special. Now, granted, it wasn't that special, okay? It was in a Jamba Juice. But it was to my first boyfriend and the first person I said I love you to. I don't think he said it back. Can't remember. So it must not have been that great. But it did hurt. That first heartbreak definitely hurt. But that's not the point. We're going to go back and talk about high school later. The point is that I grew up being like not an attractive kid, a nerdy kid, a kid that the other kids kind of like were just like, she's just kind of there. She's nice, you know, we'll use her if we need her, and we know she's going to be there because she's one of those people that always is and is nice, and we like her because she's nice. The other thing that took a toll on me, I think, or at least had an impact on me, was going from public to private school, right? So I went from an environment where I was held accountable because I was representing my faith, and I had to, you know, do a good job of doing that. If I'm going to be doing something, then they're like, well, if Christians don't wear makeup and Chelsea's doing this, then Christians must do this. Like, it was all, that was what I was associated with. But when I went into high school, all of a sudden, like, everyone's Christian. So if everyone's cussing and they're Christians, I guess I can cuss. It kind of warped my thinking. And I wouldn't suggest when raising children switching them from one to another. Unfortunately, my parents didn't really have a choice. Like, I really didn't want to stay in the public system. And I wouldn't go back and change it for anything because my high school experience was phenomenal and they're my best friends to this day. But that switch definitely was difficult on me as far as from a moral standpoint. To wrap up this video, one also thing that I would take away from that phase of my life is that was when, for whatever reason, my commitment issues kicked in. Like, why did I feel the need after 3 weeks to break up with someone? After 3 weeks, every single time, I would get scared and want to run. And I would spend the last week trying to figure out how to break up with a boy. And then I would break up with them on week 4. So I don't know what it was that gave me these commitment issues, but they were set in me pretty early. And this was the makeup of what then created the rest of my future. So stay tuned as we go into high school. You know, you gotta love a high school story. There's a lot of stories there. So this one should be good. And some of you probably went to my high school. Okay, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like below. Ciao.
I see the pieces.